Have you ever wondered what really happens when you stop chasing? When you stop explaining, justifying, reacting? When you stop bending to every expectation thrown your way? There's a shift. A quiet but undeniable shift. You don't just disappear, you evolve. And those who used to pull your strings suddenly don't know how to reach you anymore. This video is about that moment. The one where you realize your power was never in how much you give, but in what you choose to withhold. Part 1. The illusion of availability. Since childhood, we're taught to be accessible. Answer quickly, smile politely, say yes even when we mean no. We're rewarded for being easy to reach, easy to understand, easy to manage. But here's the truth. This constant accessibility is not kindness, it's not strength, it's control in disguise. Your freedom traded for validation, your silence sold for a sense of belonging. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening because it's masked as love, as duty, as being a good person. Part 2. The energy leak. Every reaction you give, every explanation, every emotional reply costs you energy. And that energy is limited, more limited than time, more fragile than attention. Carl Jung didn't see the human psyche as a blank slate. He saw it as a reservoir, a power source. Every thought, every emotion, every action is an expenditure of psychic energy. So ask yourself, how much of your strength is wasted on trying to be understood by people who only hear what they want? Part 3. The reaction trap. You think you're in control when you reply, when you defend yourself, when you clarify what you meant. But often, you're just playing into a trap. People don't need to yell to manipulate. They just need to trigger your programmed responses, and suddenly, without knowing, you're dancing to a song that was never yours to begin with. The irony, the more you react, the more predictable you become. And what's predictable is exploitable. The game isn't about logic, it's about control through your emotions. Part 4. The sovereignty of silence. Silence is not absence, silence is presence, in its most potent form. Most people fear silence because in silence, their illusions dissolve. Without your reaction, their narrative loses oxygen. Without your presence, their story collapses. You don't need to yell, you don't need to block, you don't need to convince, just don't show up. Withdraw your energy and watch how fast the mask falls off. Part 5. Strategic unavailability. Here's a radical idea. You don't have to be emotionally available all the time. Let that sink in. You are not an emotional vending machine. You're not here to soothe everyone's discomfort, to explain your boundaries into palatable pieces. Some people will call you cold, some will say you've changed. But the ones who say this are usually the ones who are feeding off your imbalance. And once you step back, you'll see it wasn't connection, it was consumption. Part 6. The sacred retreat. Jung called it individuation, the sacred process of separating who you truly are from who the world trained you to be. It's a kind of inner pilgrimage, a retreat not from people, but from false identities. You'll lose people. You'll be misunderstood. You'll walk through a fog of guilt and fear. But something beautiful happens in that space. You begin to hear your own voice again, the one beneath the noise, the one you silenced to fit in. Part 7. The loneliness of the whole. There's a unique kind of solitude that only the self-aware experience. Not the emptiness of abandonment, but the fullness of presence. You'll sit alone, not because you're unloved, but because you've stopped trading your soul for crumbs. The loneliness of the whole is not loneliness at all. It is the silence that reconstructs, the peace that doesn't need to be earned, the clarity that cannot be shaken. And when you emerge from this, you'll realize you've become someone different. Not harder, but more rooted. Not colder, but more clear. Part 8. Energetic discipline. So now the question is not who deserves my presence, but rather, where does my energy go and why? Conscious unavailability is not detachment, it's maturity. It's refusing to leak energy into places where growth is not possible. It's saying no, and not to people, but to patterns. It's walking away, not in anger, but in alignment. Because at the end of the day, your peace is not a luxury, it's your foundation. So tell me, are you ready to become rare, not by doing more but by choosing less? Because once you stop being available to the world, the right people will start seeking you, not for what you give, but for who you are. If this message resonates with your journey, type in the comments, I choose to walk away. Let's see how many of us are stepping into silence and reclaiming our power, one quiet decision at a time.